Do y'all think it's too harsh to cut off a friend because of their romantic partner?
So there's a question going on. Do you think it's wrong for you to cut off a friendship that you've had for a long time? Your girlfriend, you guys have been together for so long, but you have to cut off that friendship because she keeps making a wrong choice when it comes to relationship with men. Do you think is a good choice? Let me go ahead and roll this clip for you all to watch to the end, and I'll be back at the end of the video.
Do y'all think it's too harsh to cut off a friend because of their romantic partner? Because I've done it a few times and I think it's 100% valid. You know how they say you are who you hang out with? You 1000% are who you sleep with. And I find it interesting when I meet women who are just so ambitious and smart and funny and cool and all the good things, and then their boyfriend is literally just a nuisance, a bum, a menace. And this can go for the other way around too. It's not just a women and men thing or whatever, but I just feel like I also don't want to be in a place where I'm feeling annoyed whenever your partner comes around, or I don't want to hang out with you and your partner because he's just not a good person to be around. I also think sometimes a lot of people self-sabotage with their partners because they can be on this like uphill climb and then they meet somebody that just tanks both of them. I had a friend years ago who was just an amazing person, super smart, had all these things going, and she would constantly date just bums, men who were terrible, abusive, just terrible. And I almost feel like it was a way of self-sabotaging for her because maybe she didn't feel like she deserved to have the things that she had, so she would kind of date these guys who would kind of bring her down to a certain level where she felt comfortable. But in the midst of her meeting these men, she lost her scholarship, she stopped going to school, she couldn't keep a job, she lost her car, and I couldn't do it. I had to end up cutting her off because even my advice was not being heard. It was just like in one ear out the other. So as I'm growing and getting older and meeting new people, I definitely judge them by their partner as well. And I feel like that's 100% valid.
Hello my people, and welcome back again to my YouTube channel. It is your favorite girl again, Maya Davis, and I'm back again with another interesting video. What is your take? Is it good for you to cut off a friendship that you've had for a long time just because they have an abuse? Let me just say a toxic relationship. They keep going into a toxic relationship and you keep advising them like, girl, these men, this kind of men that you attract, this kind of men that you are dating, or this kind of man that you're currently dating is wrong for you, you need to leave, blah blah blah. But they don't listen. They keep, you can see them being hurt in that relationship, but they are not going anywhere. Is it okay for you to just let go the friendship, or is it wrong for you to let go the friendship? That's the conversation we are having in today's video. I have interesting stitches for you all to watch. People were giving their 2 cents, especially women, and they were talking about, some were saying that it is wrong for you to end the relationship, and most people were saying it is okay for you to end the relationship. But then I would like to know your own thought down in the comment section. We'll have a watch the stitches together, and I'll be back to share my own opinion at the end of all the stitches.
Harsh to cut off a friend because of their romantic partner?
No, and if I could turn back time, I would do it a lot sooner with the friendships I used to have. I do think our romantic partners are a reflection of what we think we deserve. So to some degree, it does speak to your overall character, and it doesn't have to be like a negative thing that you are actively a participant in. But like the original creator said, it can be a self-esteem issue, which does point to a bigger problem that could arise in our friendship. And even in cases where a woman is obviously lowering her standards to be with a guy who is not financially capable, emotionally capable to be with her and be a good partner, I can have grace for that woman and feel bad that she thinks that she can't do better, but at the same time understand that I don't know if I want to be around somebody who is complacent in their own destruction by proximity to a bum or a legion type man. And I also feel like at this point in my life, I'm not interested in being the sidekick, supportive friend to a woman who has chosen not to do better. If you know, you know, but it is so exhausting when you're friends with a woman who is like so intelligent, she's so bright, she's funny, she's all the things, but her man is just a shit stain, and she is okay with being willfully obtuse to it, and you better not say anything about him. I'm just not interested in trying to make you see that you can do better. If that's what you think you deserve, okay. But also that same woman will have a ridiculous set of standards for her female friendships. And again, that's something I'm not interested in dealing with. I say all that to say that I agree with the original creator. Yeah, I do take your partner as a reflection of you at a certain point, right? I'm 25.
It's too harsh to cut off a friend because of their romantic partner.
If you have a female friend or a male friend that is continuously in toxic or abusive relationships, cut them off. I wish I did this in my 20s. I know better now that I'm 40. But I got so engulfed in these women relationship, trying to save them, trying to help them, trying to mentor them, trying to get them help. And you know where it left me? Some of these abuser men trying to fight me, trying to get me knocked off. Almost watching a friend of mine, I thought she was going to die in front of me because she kept letting this man back in her house. These men lying on me, these men hating me because they knew that I was a true friend. They knew that I was able to help them. And it's not worth it. Any woman that allows a man to treat her like shit, it's not a reflection of me. And it's show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. The type of male friends or female friends that you're around, that is a reflection of you. It's a reflection of your character, what you think is right or wrong. It's a reflection of your self-esteem. I like to be around friends who love themselves, friends who are solution-based. So no, I'll cut your ass off so quick. So sis, if I disappear on you, is it because I cannot be friends with women who let men treat them like shit? And I don't, regret anybody that I cut off. 2 years ago, there was a friend of mine. I disappeared on her. She ended up marrying her F-buddy who needed to stay in the country. And for 6 years, this man abused her. He SA'd her. He did all these horrible things to her for her to turn around and marry him so he can stay in the country. And I said, congrats, girl. Wow. And I disappeared on her ass. Blocked her on social media. I blocked her number. And I don't wish her the best. I wish her the worst because I feel like sometimes people need to be abused for that to catapult them into their spiritual healing and their spiritual journey. So if you got a friend, this is to my younger women out there. You have a friend who's in a toxic relationship. Every guy she's with, he's abusing her. He's treating her like shit. Run. And let me tell you something. Something else I noticed is that most of these women, they're not really your friend. They trauma bond with you, right? If you think back to how y'all connected, y'all probably most likely trauma bond, right? And when you change, right? Because I've changed and I've done my healing work and I'm still doing my healing work. I remember when I got a good man in 2020, one of my friends kept saying, oh, you talk about him too much and, you're always with him. And it's like, girl, that's my man. What are you talking about? What's going on? But whenever I used to tell her about men who weren't treating me right, she was all ears. She was cool with it. But as soon as I got a good man, always, oh, you talking about him too much. You spend too much time with your man. So women who are always abused, they can't even vision that there is a good man out there until it actually happens to them. So when you are in healthy relationships, there's no way in hell you're going to be able to be friends with somebody who's always getting the shitty dude. Next thing you know, she's going to be like, can I come to your house? She's going to try to challenge you. Let me tell you something. When a woman is damaged, you don't know what she will do. You don't know what will people do because you have something that they've never even knew existed. True. Now they got to compete and compare to see how come she gets to be loved. How come she gets a man who's generous with her? He loves her. Why I keep attracting these abusers, not knowing that they have to do their healing work. It's nothing wrong with cutting off a woman who still hasn't done her healing work and she keeps attracting these toxic men and staying in these abusive relationships. Don't get engulfed, cut them off, wish them the best.
Yeah.
Do y'all think it's too harsh to cut off a friend because of their romantic partner?
Okay, this is a complicated topic because on one hand, if your friend's partner is like, I like to beat up little kids, and your friend like, I'm chill with that, I'm gonna assume that your friend also likes to beat up little kids.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want shit to do with that because that's not the type of people I'm friends with. But also abandoning your friends when they're in essentially what is a toxic relationship is a very dangerous game to play. And it's the people who have toxic partners that need the most community, because we all know isolation is one of the biggest tools for abuse, because sometimes people really just need strong community and people to show them love and care, the love and care that they're chasing from that partner, for them to realize that they don't need that partner, and that what that partner is giving them is all evil because I'm getting love and care from this side, so what the fuck do I need you? And sometimes they really do need that voice of reason. Like sometimes I know that they won't listen. A lot of times when people are in abusive situations, they might not listen the first 20 times you say it, but it's still in their head. And like there's nothing wrong with setting boundaries. Like I've had friends with toxic partners and toxic relationships, even if it's not romantic, and I'm like, if you choose not to leave that person, don't bring them around me and don't talk to me about them because I've already said my piece. And every time they bring it up, I'll be like, I already said my piece, don't bring that shit up again. And if they continue to disrespect your boundaries, you might have to love them from afar. I always tell my friends that if you I don't want to hear about it, but if you really need me and you're in danger, I'm gonna be there. And a lot of these people who are in these toxic relationships are being manipulated, and you can't punish someone for having someone else abuse them. Does that make any sense?
Do y'all think it's too harsh to cut off a friend because of their romantic partner?
No, there's nothing wrong with that at all, especially when you get old enough to realize the pattern of, damn, you're my best friend, but kind of noticed every single relationship that you've been in, you're kind of always the motherfucking problem. So, a friend of mine, me and my friend group, we would spend a lot of time at his house, spending the night playing video games, all that type of shit. Randomly, we would all be playing the game. He would get a phone call, and then he would leave the room for like an hour. And the entire hour, he'd be outside screaming at his girlfriend. Come back in, get right back on the game, like nothing even happened. The same friend, it's very sketchy to make plans with because he believed that, he's one of those kind of people that believe, hey, I'm in a relationship so I can ghost my friends whenever I want to, especially right after I make plans with them. And I mean 5 minutes after I make plans with them, because instead of meeting you guys at McDonald's or Wendy's or wherever that, I just plan to meet up with y'all at, I'm going to make plans with my girl instead and just say fuck y'all and go chill with her. And when y'all try to call me, I'm not going to answer my phone. When you try to text me, I'm not going to answer my phone. And the next time you see me, I'm going to act like it didn't even happen. What should have been the last straw of pretty much all of us being friends with him was in 2007. We had a classmate that passed away a couple of weeks after graduation because of a car accident. That morning, he was asleep, while we were all finding out everything that was going on with our classmate. He woke up later on in the morning, and we let him know what happened to the classmate. And let him know that we had called his girlfriend at the time to let her know that what happened to him, because she was actually really good friends with our classmate that passed away. And pretty much he just kind of lacked empathy with the whole situation, was upset that we even reached out to his girlfriend. And I didn't hear the phone conversation, but apparently he said some very fucked up things to her on the phone about him passing away. That should have been it. But again, we're teenagers, and shit like that doesn't click until later on in life.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't care if it takes years, and for my friendship with that person, it took me damn near a decade to figure out, you know what? I don't want anything bad to happen to this person, but my life is going to be a whole lot better without dealing with them. And I've been right ever since I made that decision.
Do y'all think it's too harsh to cut off a friend because of their romantic partner?
No. And I feel like people, when you say that, people think that you're a shitty friend. But I think that a lot of women need to understand your friend only wants to hear so much. You only got a couple of times to call me and tell me about what that man's doing to you before I'm going to ask you to stop sharing that information with me. because I'm going to start asking you why you don't like yourself. If every phone call is you crying because he's a loser and he has no car and no job and he cheats on you and he's mean to you and he calls you ugly and fat and stupid and dumb and he's disrespecting you left and right, your friends don't like him, your family don't like him, he's a bad person, what do you want me to say? What can I say? Not to mention that you might not even know the type of abuse that I've endured in my life. And now I have to listen to you talk about something that might be familiar to me, and it triggers me. It makes me feel badly and puts me in a bad mental space. I have a couple friends, just the mention of their ex-boyfriends, just hearing their names will put me in a bad mood. That's not even joking. And I feel traumatized and I wasn't even in those relationships. And that's insane. I think that a lot of women also don't know how mentally taxing it is when you are constantly calling your friends and talking about all the problems you have in your relationship. And then you bring that man around and I have to smile in his face as if I don't think he's the actual scum of the earth and that my friend can do way better.
Do y'all think it's too harsh to cut off a friend because of their romantic partner?
Absolutely. I honestly think like your partner is a reflection or an extension of you to a certain extent, of course. But if your partner, if, for example, if my partner was a horrible human being and was treating my girlies horrible, for starters, I would think that you don't just respect women in general. Like you don't respect them. Why am I with you? And I take their opinions, especially my sisters, 100% into consideration. So, with that being said, I actually have a story time because when I was 19, I was really good friends with this girl. I got her a job. I was like her ride or die. I never liked her boyfriend. And I was very upfront. I don't like him. And I told him straight up, I don't like you. And the reason why was because he was a domestic violence abuser. He was verbally abusive. And he didn't like that I called him out on his crap. Well, she ended up cutting me out, and because he said so. And it wasn't until like things got so bad, he was like in jail, that she reached out to me. She's like, "Oh, I really need your help because I know you're in the field of social work." I helped her get a protective order, resources. I even drove with her to the prison for her to get some kind of closure because she needed that. That's how much of a good friend I am, or I was to her. Eventually, I ended up ending that friendship because honestly, like I felt like it was very one sided. And when I really needed somebody to be there for me, she was never there for me. And unfortunately, that's how it is sometimes, especially whenever you are generous by nature or you want to help everyone out. And yeah, sometimes that it's okay to end friendships, especially if their significant others are not the best human beings ever.
Do y'all think it's too harsh to cut off a friend because of their romantic partner?
No, I do not at all because I be feeling the same way. I'm not gonna lie. Like she mentioned in the video, it literally like makes you uncomfortable to be around, and I'm all about being comfortable for everybody. Like I want to be comfortable. I want people around me to be comfortable, and I just feel like if you are feeling uncomfortable with your friend's partner and they're around very often, like you just gotta fall back. Like it kind of sucks to say, and it's just yeah. Everything she said was a fact. Even like it be like the most ambitious, beautiful, like smart people, from male to female, and they be with some person that is not like them, like at all, like are literally bringing them down, having themselves sabotage every day. And I definitely do feel like it's too is rooted in them believing that they are lower, like they deserve less than what they are getting, and it's just all around toxic.
Do y'all think it's too harsh to cut off a friend because of their romantic
I literally had to stitch this because I had to cut off one of my closest friends because of this. At this point, she had been in several relationships that were just toxic, the same pattern of ain't shit guys just dogging her out in various ways. Nobody ever had a job, never had a consistent income, nothing. And even though she was on top of her stuff, still it will always impact her in some way, shape, or form. This specific guy was abusive, very toxic. He didn't have anything going for himself. Just a horrible person. He was always treating her like shit. And of course, she was coming to me about it because I'm her best friend. One particular time, she came to me about an issue that they were having. They were into an argument or whatever, and she was supposed to be cutting him off, right? Me and her have been texting about this. We have been going texting back and forth, and I'm telling her, like, for the 50th time, you need to leave him. Like, he's no good for you. Like, why are you doing this to yourself? You have so much potential. You are so much better than this. Why are you with him? Tell me why the next fucking day, this man DMs me on Instagram with screenshots of our messages. Like, basically, why are you telling my girl leave me? At this point, I'm scared for my life. When I say this is a street nigga, I don't know him or what he's capable of. And the fact that he went through our messages, you allowed that. He DM'd me, you allowed that. So obviously I'm reaching out to her like, why is your man messaging me? Like, why is he reading our messages? Like, what the fuck is going on? And I thought you was done with him, so why is he reading our messages? He telling me to stay the fuck out of their business type shit. And I'm just like, bet. Because I'm not trying to get my life ended over something that y'all two got going on. That's between you and him. She never checked him, and they still stayed together after that. I ended up having to cut her off a couple months later because they got into it again. And it was just worse. But yeah, I feel like it's fair. You got to protect your own peace.
Do y'all think it's too harsh to cut off a friend because of their romantic partner?
The idea in this video and in the comment section that you are a reflection of who you date is probably the most damaging thing that you could say to a survivor of abuse. There are a lot of reasons that good people end up in abusive relationships, but I'm not a psychologist and I'm not here to teach. I'm also not able to teach how to have basic compassion and empathy to people that you call your friends. My relationship didn't really change how I treated my friends. I understand that there are definitely circumstances where that happens, and I feel that might be different. But I still lost friends because there are people in this world who only view your friendship as what you bring to the table for them. I was no longer fun. I was no longer the life of the party. But I had friends who were supporting me and helping me through that. And I had friends who didn't really want to hang out with me anymore because I wasn't like bringing a good time. The most rewarding friendships, like all relationships, are the ones that can endure challenging times and be a support system to you through that on both sides. And you are not your ex-boyfriend.
Do y'all think it's too harsh to cut off a friend because of their romantic partner?
So I wouldn't cut off a friend because of their romantic choices, but I would cut them off if their romantic choices start interfering within our friendship. I've been in multiple scenarios where I've had friends who basically, how do I say? I don't want to say leave me dry, but did not respect me. Yeah. I don't know how to explain, but basically within our friendship, like there'll be times that we would like want to go out and like have fun or like, you know, just take the day to just chill or whatever. And mind you, they would spend a lot of time with their partner. And I understand, you know, you want to be with your partner most of the time and stuff like that. I get it. But it's like if we make a day where we want to go out and have fun and stuff like that, and you get into an argument with them because they got mad because you're hanging out with your friends, that starts interfering with our friendship. And then on top of that, you start canceling plans because you want to like just hang out with them every day, all the time. And you don't want to, you know, hit me up or like call me to see how I'm doing when I'm reaching out to you. You leave me on red and stuff like that. To me, I'm like, okay. And people will confuse it because I'm sure like trying to be like, oh, well, you were probably trying to like get at them and, try to break up their relationship. No, that's none of my business. I don't care. I just, to me, if you're like a very close friend of mine, and they were always close friends of mine, to me, you're family at that point. But once I see it starts, interfering with the way that we hang out or how we talk to each other, how, we don't really be able to really have a friendship, then at that point, I'm like, there's really no point. I'm just going to have to cut you off. And I realized that most of the time, they didn't really need an explanation of why I was cutting them off. It was more so just one day I just stopped reaching out, stopped speaking to them. And that's usually when they like want to reach out to you the most and stuff like that. But I kind of was just like, if you can't set aside and put your boundaries in a relationship and stuff like that, especially if we were close friends before they came in the picture, then to me, your mind is set that you just want to have your whole life based on them, then I can't be friends with you anymore. I hope I explained that properly because I feel like I am not trying to get the point across that I want to, but hopefully people will understand. I don't know.
Do y'all think it's too harsh to cut off a friend because of their romantic partner?
No, I don't think it's too harsh. When I was younger, I used to have a friend. She was in an abusive relationship. And one day I went to her house to help her move out to get away from her abusive boyfriend. And the abusive boyfriend saw me there. I guess he wasn't expecting that. And while we were in the process of moving her belongings out and I was helping her, this man actually physically assaulted me and I had to put him in his place. I'm not scared to hit a man. But yeah, imagine if he was like really crazy, because you know sometimes men will actually unalive you over things like that. Luckily for me, he wasn't that kind of person. But yeah, it was a valuable lesson about how I need to make sure my homegirls have high self-esteem. That way they will refuse to date men who treat them like that. And that prevents me from being negatively impacted by their love life and the decisions that they make in their love life. Because some of these women do not look out for themselves the way they're supposed to. And if you end up being friends with one of these women, you may find yourself in a dangerous, if not life-threatening situation, because she don't have the self-esteem that she needs to deal with a man who has enough respect for her to not put his hands on her. So yeah, you just have to watch your back when it comes to dealing with women who don't really have enough self-respect for themselves, because they will put you in dangerous situations because they don't care enough about themselves. And if somebody don't care that much about themselves, they can only care but so much about you.
Do y'all think it's too harsh to cut off a friend because of their romantic partner?
I don't think it's too harsh, and I would go as far as saying that it's necessary in some cases. Your romantic partner is a reflection of who you are, and if that romantic partner is somebody who doesn't stand for the people that you surround yourself with, then like how dare you bring that person into circles? And I think about it specifically from like, I'm a queer person, my sibling is a queer person, and I had a friend one time who was very interested in finding a romantic partner. Like, I love that for you, babes, like go get your man. But if that romantic partner doesn't stand for the community that you associate yourself with and like votes directly in counter to their best interests, like that's not going to be cool with me. I don't know in what world that would ever be cool. That's like a man who's against women's reproductive rights. Like, no, I'm not going to support a friend who dates a man who thinks that those things. I'm not going to date a man, or I'm not going to be friends with a woman who dates a man who is against like queer rights. That just seems like a no-brainer to me. So no, I don't think it's radical to do that.
So many interesting stitches. so many. If you're still here, definitely enjoy the stitches just like I did. Let me know your thoughts about this video down in the comment section. All opinions are accepted in this channel, of course, if you put them down respectfully. So having conversation about friendship, is it okay for you to just cut your friendship off or cut your friend off if they are with an abusive partner or they're in a toxic relationship and they refuse to leave that relationship due to the advice you might be giving them? Is it okay? Let me know down in the comment section. For me, I would say that I feel like I would not leave my friend. I would not leave my friend if they are in an abusive or toxic relationship. I would not leave my friend. I'm like one of the few people that would not leave my friend. Why won't I leave my friend? Because I know that sometimes when you advise people, you tell people things, they might not even see what you're advising them on until they experience it. Okay, so sometimes the things that I might be seeing at that point, they are not seeing it. But the fact that I'm going to give you my advice, of course. I'm going to tell you my own opinion. But if you don't follow my advice and you're still in that relationship, that doesn't mean I'm going to leave you as a friend. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to be a friend again. I will just be talking to you, but we're not going to have any conversation about your relationship. And that is it. Because when you start telling me, imagine he did this, I'm like, I already told you, he's this kind of man. What I used to do with him. So don't have conversation. We're not going to have conversations around your man. We can have like, you're my friend for a reason. I like you for some things, not because you're in a relationship or not. So if you're in a relationship that I'm not okay with and I can see the bad side of what this guy is doing to you and you're not saying it and I'm telling you you're not taking my advice, no problem. That doesn't mean that I'm going to end the relationship. The only time that I might end the relationship or I might just cut you off or just give you that distance is when I'm telling you things about this man. You now go back and tell him that Maria said you are this, you are that. You are going back to tell the man, all the things that I'm telling you, and probably the man now came to tell me that this is what you're telling my girl, blah blah blah. That's where I have problem with you. Okay, definitely you don't have sense. So I cannot be with someone that don't have sense. Definitely you don't have sense. So I can't. That's when me, I'm gonna cut you off. But if you're in a kind of relationship that I feel like you will need help sometimes, I feel like it gets to a stage whereby it will hit on your head that I need to get out of this place, and you will remember me. And when I was telling you to get out of that place, you will remember me. So I feel like I'll be the first person you're going to call when it hits you, and I'll be there to also be there to help my friend. I don't think I'm going to cut off the relationship, my friendship with my friend, if she's, in a relationship that I'm not okay with, if that makes sense. That's just my own opinion anyway. What is your own take? Would you leave your friendship? Would you cut off a friend? Would you end your friendship just because they are always speaking, abusive partner, toxic relationship? Would you end the friendship? Let me know down in the comment section. I thank you all so much for sticking around to this point. I hope you enjoyed this video. Okay, don't forget to like and share and subscribe, and kindly turn on the post notification bell so you can get notified once I upload another interesting video like this one. And of course, I will see you all in my next video. Bye.